There are some who are proclaiming that our world will end on or around December 21st.
Yeah, but we all know that's bullshit anyway, don't we?
Some of this comes from misinterpretations of ancient prophecies.
It's true. A lot of this stuff about 2012 and, you know, the 21st December 2012, it's all about misinterpreting ancient prophecies. I agree. Totally agree.
Truth is that our world will not end on that day.
That's very reassuring.
Nor will we experience a catastrophic event on that day.
That's very good to know. There won't be a big catastrophic event. You heard it here first, folks.
I can tell you that God... I can tell you that God is preparing us for a new era. Our old way of doing things in our world is about to come to an end.
I was hoping for a bit of rationality, and what do I get? What do I get? I get a woman saying, oh no, 2012 won't be the end, but God is preparing us for the end. How the fuck is that any better?
God has been giving us signs and warnings that a new era is approaching.
God has been giving us signs, has he? Let's think about this, shall we? God has been giving us signs. How do you know it's your God? How do you know it's not the Muslim God? How do you know it's not any number of different versions of the Christian faith, the Jewish faith, or anything? Why not? Why can't it be Hindu gods? Yeah, they're all having their giant game of chess in the sky, moving pieces here on Earth, and they're playing their own game. Why not? Why not pagan gods? Why your God?
And these signs didn't come from prophets or from doomsday and end-time hawkers. Signs of our dying era have come through nature and the course of events in our world.
These signs have come through nature. They've come through nature. Really? Have they? So these signs, this proof of a God has come through nature, and yet no one who believes in God can actually prove God, their version of God or any version of God, to be an actuality. So how the fuck could they prove that God's end time is coming true and it's working through nature? They can't.
For some time, we've witnessed and experienced radical changes in nature, such as the tsunami in Japan, the falling birds phenomenon, volcanoes and earthquakes in places that normally don't see these things. All of these are signs of changes to come. Signs of things to come.
Well, no. Oh, you're saying they're new. Oh, these things have never happened there, they've never happened there. But guess what? We're living on a planet which is constantly changing. We're seeing climate change. We're seeing variation on an epic scale. And you're saying, oh, these things are new. These things have never happened before. As if tsunamis and earthquakes and volcanoes and various other things have never happened before. And of course, because of the news, oh, you could hear the news from every corner of the planet within an instant, practically. So you may as well say, well, we never heard of this 50 years ago. Oh, people never talked about that 100 years ago. It's because they did not have instantaneous connections over the internet to say, there's been a tsunami, there's been this, there's been that. And there wasn't huge publicity. But now, of course, all of you nut jobs, all of you religious freaks can say, I know it's the truth because we see it here. And even if it was quieter, say 50, 100 years ago, which by the way it was not, that's not proof that these things have never happened before, or that indeed there is an increase from previous times. We don't have records going back that far of many of these key flash points where a lot of these things have happened. We don't have the data. Going back just a couple of centuries ago, there is practically zero data on a lot of these natural events. So, really, how can we say for sure it is a definite and obvious increase for around 2012 and that kind of date? Answer is, of course, we cannot.
We've also witnessed the Arab Spring, in which autocratic rulers have been ousted. We're also seeing the truth about our leaders, our governments, and our societies coming out in the open. The truth is coming out on these various levels of our society. Truth is being revealed, and truth always comes with a change. We can't get around that fact.
So you're saying the Arab Spring and, revolution, civil war, the war in Libya and various other things, all signs of the big change, this big event, this huge end times cataclysm. You're saying it's proof of that, but how come we've had larger and indeed often more important events in the past? How come despite the protests all over the Arab world, we've only seen decent sized revolutions and fights for freedom in a handful of those nations? How come we're not seeing things on an epic global scale? Oh, we're seeing events all over the world. We're seeing the Occupy movement. We're seeing things where people are protesting in many of these Arab countries or being very often repressed by these particular governments. And indeed, it's not just Arab countries, it's all over different parts of the world in some cases. But even so, there is not the vastness you would expect for an event leading towards the 2012 or post-2012 end times kind of event. There is no proof of that, is there? So you're simply playing upon what we see around us and saying, well, what else could it be? And I am sure there were people around the time of World War I, World War II, perhaps even, probably even Vietnam and major other wars of the past, and they said, oh well, this is the proof of the time. In fact, did you know the Jehovah's Witnesses in 1914 believed that that's when the devil was sent back to earth because of the First World War? That's how fickle you religious nutjobs truly are.
The years 2009 to 2011 were years of transition, and this year of 2012 will mark the end of that transition.
Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
And the beginning of a short period of chaos, which we will see in the years 2013 to 2014.
Even if this was a transition towards a new era, then how would you know? How would you know it's actually going to be that? Oh, there's all these events all over the world. There's always been events all over the world. There's always been these great events happening throughout history. This is the thing about these religious people, these end times people. They always think that their time is the most important time. Oh yes, we're in the end times, and guess what? People like you have been saying that since year zero.
And a new era is about to begin.
Oh great, the new era will begin 2013, 2016. Yeah, I'm not subscribing to 2012. Oh, 21st December 2012, the end or beginning of a great change. No, I don't want to think about that one. I want to say, I'm going to put back my date a bit. So when people quit on 2012, I can say, well, look at the world around you, look at these transitions. Can't you see there is this change? Of course, the 2012ers, they got it wrong. Oh yeah, they got it wrong, but I'm going to get it right because I'm saying 2013 to 2016. So I can just rope you in and pull you bastards in and milk you for every single drop of bullshit I can. Oh yes.
The new era that is approaching will begin in 2013 through 2016. These are the years when the new takes over the old.
You're saying this is when the new takes over the old? Okay. Can you prove that? Oh, of course you can't. You're simply proclaiming, as these prophets and prophetesses and these speakers and people who read in these particular holy books say. They say, oh, of course I know the truth. Why do I know the truth? Because I know the truth. Oh, observe the world around you, can't you see? Well, how many people who say observe the world around you, oh, can't you see the truth? What I'm saying must be true because of X, Y and Z. How many of those people have been proven wrong time and time again? What springs to mind? People like Harold Camping, People like David Icke who've said, oh, of course the Illuminati are going to take over by this year, that year, Same with Alex Jones, the conspiracy theorist there, who says, oh, of course they're going to take over by then, they're going to take over by now, they're going to take over then, police state. And people who are saying back in year 2000, Y2K, oh no, there's going to be nukes going off all over the world and everything else. And it was all horseshit. Oh, you can proclaim, I won't stop your freedom of speech, I'll just call bullshit on it.
The new era is coming, that is coming, is twofold. And I say this because on one dimension, we will experience the rise of spiritual awareness.
Oh, that's right, folks, spiritual awareness. Yeah, not any kind of awareness, like using your brain. No, spiritual awareness. Brilliant, you know. And what does that spiritual awareness actually mean? You know, is Hinduism not spiritual? Is Buddhism not spiritual? Paganism? Druery, which is Druidism? Or are any particular beliefs, ideas of supposed supernatural ideas, are they anything less than spiritual? Spiritual is a relative term in the end. It can mean whatever you want it to mean.
The age of prosperity, religious focus is coming to an end.
The age of religion is coming to the end. It's coming to an end, folks. Religion is dying out. Fuck yeah, even this woman, this crazy nut job, believes in the same shit. She believes religion's coming to an end. Or so she says.
As more believers begin to focus on the spiritual more so than the material, which has ruled in religion, I guess, for the last 4 decades. But another side of this era is the deterioration of our world. The quality of leaders will be inferior, and nations that were once powerful will find themselves declining. Nations that were at the bottom will suddenly rise to the top.
What the fuck is this woman on? She's saying, oh, religion's going. Yeah, religion's going, it's going to be gone. And I just think, great. But then she says, oh, true believers. You know what this line is, this particular line of horseshit? It's saying, oh, of course, true believers, yes, true believers, you're going to be okay. You're going to survive because there won't be religion anymore. Oh, no, there's just going to be true believers. And if you're a true believer, you're going to live on. What does that actually mean? That means a kind of religious New World Order, a theocracy dominating humanity. It's what it sounds like to me. As for the world leaders element, don't we all just look back and want great leaders, good leaders, quality leaders? We look back and think how great the Kennedys were, how great Winston Churchill was, how great these distant leaders were. We forget their faults, we forget their errors, we put them to the back of our mind as we very often think they were great. And then we look at today's politicians and think, oh fuck. we look at them and go, oh my god, these people are full of errors, as indeed every human being since the beginning of time has been full of errors, you know? And she's saying, oh, we're going to look at great, you know, we're going to look at the past and think those leaders are better. We're going to look at our present day leaders and think they're not as good, you know, meh. Well, we do that anyway. It's called being human, being little fickle human beings. We do that. As for the idea that great nations will fall and lesser nations will rise, well, that's called the nature of the world, my friend. But to say that the lowest of nations, you know, these poor nations are going to rise, does that mean Europe's going to be run by Albania? Does that mean that the whole world is going to be run from Ethiopia? Does it? I sure as hell don't think so. I think what you're saying is, there's been economic changes and I'm going to capitalise on that. I'm going to say the greatest of nations, they're going to come down. The lowest of nations, oh, like China and India with bustling, huge economies full of industry, they're going to go up. But I'm going to say the lowest of nations because I'm a fucking idiot. And that's what you're saying, honey. You're saying that you don't know what you're talking about, that you're capitalising on the ideas which are already out there. You are typical of the kind of end times nut job which you see out there. You're a doomsayer which has nothing to bring to the topic, nothing to bring to the conversation apart from your own line, your own spin on things. You've got no information, no genuine information. All you do is talk. And that's all that most nut jobs ever do.
Morals, principles, and human value will fall to the lowest standards ever.
What? Moral standards will fall? Human and moral standards? Well, we can disprove that. I mean, all I have to do to disprove your bullshit is, well, wait. That's all I have to do. All I have to do is simply wait here for a couple of years and go, and then, when it comes round, I can just simply say, you were wrong, you know. You were wrong.
This is in accordance with what is prophesied in the book of Revelations.
Whoa, whoa. Didn't you say just a few moments ago that you're not taking it for prophecy? Oh, it's from the world around us, from nature, from what we see in events. You said that, you know, the things we see is all proven all around us, but then you start saying, oh, the book of Revelations. You people never grow up, do you? You try and say, oh yes, you see it all around you, it's here, it's there, it's everywhere, don't you see it? Don't you see it all around you? And really, all you do is try and capitalise on world events. You know, the events we see around us, the ideas, the prophecies and doomsaying, and you try and say, this proves the Bible, you know, when it really does not.
From the beginning to the end of the book of Revelations, the bottom line is the fall of man through our own sin and the salvation of the faithful and their reward of eternal life with God.
Really? You're saying the book of Revelation says, therefore it must be true. And look at these events around you. Aren't they conductive of the ideas within the book of Revelations? Well, actually, no. Of course, there was no Garden of Eden. Therefore, there was no original sin. Therefore, there is no reason to repent. And therefore, there is no reason to believe any of the bullshit in the Bible, whether we talk about old or new, or indeed, in this case, the book of Revelations. It's not about anything. It is an act. It is a work of fiction. That is all. That's all the book of Revelations is or ever can be. A fictional work. That's all it is. It's got no truth to it. If it did, then we would see it all around us, surely, with all of these events going on. And what do we see? We see the same old events, which we've seen for centuries. We've seen revolutions, we've seen wars, we've seen political upset and intrigue. But it's nothing to do with the book of Revelations, love. It's to do with reality, civilization, which is not quite civilized as we would prefer. It's got nothing to do with your doomsaying.
As you can see, December 21st is not about the end of the world, but the beginning of a multi-dimensional era that will bring both decline in a physical sense and new awakening on a spiritual level.
This bullshit says it all, really, doesn't it? Oh yeah, it's true because it's true. It's true because it's written. And can't you see around you all the prophecies? This is the same line I've heard numerous times when I get those little people coming to my front door, knocking at funny hours of the day, when I'm either trying to sleep because I work nights, or something equally as important I'm getting on with. I could be having communication on Skype, I could be, I don't know, eating my lunch or dinner, and I get a little tap on the door. Who's that on the door, I wonder? Who is that outside? And I go and look, it's a Jehovah's Witness. And they go and say, oh well, can't you see the events around you? Can't you see that we're in the end times? Same line, same rhetoric, a different person with a different spin. You are as bad as any doomsayer. Believe me, you are. You're a nut job. Bye bye.